Greetings, beautiful friends. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday, and welcome to our Inner Compass forecast for the week ahead. I trust you had a lovely, nurturing weekend and are ready to step into this. This is a beautiful week energetically. If you've been on these sessions before, you know that for the Inner Compass forecast, the first part is to contemplate the phase of the moon, and then we're going to pull some cards to help us really step into and make best use of the energies that we are surrounded by. So the phase of the moon. Phase of the moon arrived yesterday. It is the first new moon of 2026, and it's in the sign of Capricorn. This is a really potent new moon. New moons are times for us to not necessarily be caught in doing and rushing and pushing forward. It's a time for contemplating and planting seeds and working on what do you want to create more of? What do you want to align with? What is your soul's mission? So with this being in the sign of Capricorn, Capricorn is very practical, very practical, but also inspiring the best version of you. Working towards, methodically, that was the word I was trying to think of, methodically stepping up into the best version of you. And we are always doing that. But with this new moon, I encourage you to look at what habits and patterns and decisions and choices that you have already put in place in 2025 or this past few weeks, and what are serving you and what aren't. Because this is a time to really calibrate to the practical steps that really align with your auspicious, audacious dreams, goals, intentions. Now, talking about dreams, this is not necessarily a time to get kind of too out there with your dreams, like the dreamy. Sometimes we can get too dreamy and it's a bit too ethereal and too much movement. Whereas with this intention is what do you want to commit to and really make a stand for? Talking about that too, these intentions and goals, what kind of reference into what do you want to be remembered for? What's the legacy you intend to leave? These are times when, with this 2026 energy, it's a beautiful time to check and see, are you calibrated and are you sharing your authentic gifts, your talents, your unique piece that you as a soul came here to do, to share, to be, to ripple out into the collective? Of course, with these questions that I tend to use when we're having these conversations, there are no right or wrong answers. Contemplating things, it's about really creating space and time to come into taking a deep breath. And if you watched this before or you've been with me before, you know that my favorite question is, how does this make me feel about me? I have lots of favorite questions, but this one is very appropriate. How does this choice, this intention, this vision, this decision, how does this make me feel about me? And what we're looking for is we want to align with, it feels right. It feels good. It feels in alignment. It feels like I am tapped into my meaning, my fulfillment, my mission. We all have life missions. Are you calibrating to it? Are you sharing it? Are you following the path that you have already, at some level, put into place for yourself? So, take a nice deep breath. If anything that I say on these sessions trigger you, confuse you, discombobulate you, reach out, ask your questions in the comments below or message me directly, because my intention with this is to really help you not only access your inner compass, but to deepen your trust, your dependency upon it, yours, your flavor, your way, your mission. This is, and so sometimes ideas will land and you think, oh yeah, that's totally for me. Other times, other ideas may land in and it goes, oh, that doesn't resonate. It's not for you. That's what really kind of inspires me to continue having these conversations and coming on to sharing this wisdom that comes through, because not everything is for you. But showing up and listening and feeling into it and contemplating, putting your hand on your heart and taking a deep breath, it allows you to get in touch with your inner compass, your inner wisdom. So, all that being said, let's start pulling some cards. The first deck that I use is my Letting Go guidance system. Because, and I said that a moment ago with this reflection time with this new moon, is sometimes when we have reflection time, we get clear on, you know what, that pattern's not suiting or not serving me anymore. That habit, that mindset, though, that way of speaking to myself about myself, it's over. So this is the first part. We go into what can we look at letting go of as we navigate this time. Well, this is a good one. So the first one is overthinking. Letting go of overthinking. You know, sometimes we can get into, especially when I'm saying to you, calibrating to what's your biggest dream, what's your mission, what's your outcome that you're looking for. We can get stuck in our head. And overthinking is something to just be mindful of and trust that every time you ask a question, the answer is already there. So when we get too caught into the cycles, excuse me, of overthinking, we might drown it out. We might not hear it. And when I say hear it, it's hearing it in our heart, hearing it in our belly, hearing it intuitively, saying, oh, there's the answer. I see it. I receive it. And acknowledging it. So let's make sure that we're going to do whatever it is you need. Sometimes releasing overthinking is done by doing a brain dump. I call it a brain dump, where you just write down everything that's going on in your head. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas, all the should be over there. Just write it all down. And then walk away from it. And only take up the things that are in alignment with that auspicious version of you. Okay, so taking another nice deep breath, I'm going to pull a tarot card to see what tarot card is going to give us some direction, some support, some new ideas. Oh, this is a good one. We're talking about phases of the moon. That's what's come up. Phases of the moon. I love that. So if we follow on from the idea of overthinking, letting go of overthinking, the moon, to me, the moon is a really strong message to you to trust your inner guidance, to trust your inner wisdom. You know how sometimes, one of the things I think of when I see the moon card in the tarot is that, you know how things can appear more of a challenge. Like if you were going for a walk in the woods by the light of the moon, everything that you saw would be magnified. It would be dangerous. It would be scary. Whereas if you went on that same walk by the light of the sun, you know, oh, it's just a bush, or it's just a tree. So allowing yourself to really soften into what's coming up in that sort of ethereal type of place, and trust that everything is for you, even if it feels like a wee bit of a challenge. Everything that we experience is for us. So I feel like that's an important one as we, contemplate and get in touch with what are the practical steps to walk forward into the rest of 2026 and to really truly align with what's my calling, what am I wanting to do, what am I working towards developing and evolving for the collective. We all have a piece that only we can bring in. So it's so important to make sure that you're actually aligning with that. So interesting cards. As I was riffing on those ideas, I was shuffling the Healing with the Angels cards. So the first one that's come up is soulmate. Are you being your own best friend, your own sacred soulmate? Are you actually allowing yourself space and time and contemplation to really get in touch with that aspect of you? And it's by doing that that we get in touch with our own truth and walk forward with integrity. That's actually a really important part with this new moon in Capricorn too, because truth and integrity is actually asking us to really get in touch with, are there things where we have kind of allowed to drop off to the wayside because we aren't taking complete ownership for it? The whole thing about responsibility, I like to think of responsibility as the ability to respond. So are you really operating from integrity and not saying, oh, that project didn't work out because so-and-so didn't do this or that didn't line up? Taking ownership is a very important part with this new moon. And then the last one that's come up here, I love that, is self-acceptance. Self-acceptance. You are in the right place at the right time. And you know, when we do these contemplations and say, what am I walking forward with? What am I letting go of? Sometimes we can get into, oh gosh, I screwed up there. I did something wrong. I went off track. It's all good. You've never done anything wrong. Sometimes we make a misstep to find out, oh, that doesn't serve me. That doesn't align. So thank you for the lesson, and now I'm making a course correction or going a different way. See if that comes up for you. And like I said, as always, if you need any more guidance or support or clarifications on any of these ideas, just let me know. But I'm just about ready to send you off into this auspicious week ahead. We wrap these sessions up with one of my Liberate Your Inner Truth cards. So take a nice deep breath. Let's see what guidance comes through for us with this one. It's I am empathetic. Just need to focus on that one for you. I am empathetic. So let me read this out to you. To truly be supportive of another, I first strive to understand them. Empathetic people take the time to understand other people's preferences and motivations. I listen non-judgmentally and leave my assumptions at the door. That's a beautiful way to kind of bring all of this together and take steps forward towards, gently, baby steps, because there's not a lot of action with this week, but it's about the contemplation. That's the biggest piece of this. And really being in touch with your own intuitive, emotional essence. Much love to you. Thank you for watching. I wish you a superb week, and I'll be back again with you next week.